Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Tommy John Show. It's always good to be back. And the usual cast of characters are here as always. You know myself, Tommy Lane. That is Johnny Mishaws.
Happy to be here.
As always, our commentator, gruesome Gavin Delaney. Gavin.
Happy to be here again for a third time, Tommy.
Absolutely. And a new member joining us today, Mr. Anthony Souls, a dear friend of ours. Anthony.
Hello.
All right. So, as you know, this is our third episode here in the garage, a social distancing podcast today. And we want to just thank all the fans for their love and support. Johnny, just more and more views are coming in on our videos. It's just extraordinary.
Oh, yeah. It's great to see, the support we've been getting from everybody, They make us want to pump out more episodes. That's what we're doing.
Absolutely. We are up in the ante here. You guys want more episodes? We're putting them out for you. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. If you're not subscribed already, what are you doing? Smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button. And more content will be coming to the fans' way. So, Gav, as always, let's kick this thing right off. And what do we got first on tap today?
So this week we got some big news in the boxing world.
Oh,
Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, some of the biggest names in boxing as we know it right now, they have verbally agreed on meeting sometime in 2021. So we have they signed they're planning on signing a 2-fight deal between the two. And as of now, Joshua is the underdog at plus 180 and Fury is at minus 200. Obviously, Fury still has to fight Deontay Wilder one more time before this can happen.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
Well, I just got to say, thank God that fight is scheduled to happen, because too often in boxing, this is the case, the biggest names in the sport hardly fight each other in their primes. Mm-hmm. They're always too much money. They want to put their fighters on the line, these promoting companies. And Johnny, Eddie Hearn said he would do it. Bob Arum said he would do it. These promoters said this fight will happen in 2021, and it looks like it's coming our way.
Yeah, well, let's hope it actually happens. Like you said, there's a lot of other things that go into it before the fight happens. It's all about money in boxing.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
So they got to make sure everyone gets their piece of the pie before that happens.
Right. So if this fight were to happen let's say a year ago, before the Andy Ruiz debacle for Anthony Joshua, I think Joshua would have been a favorite, a substantial favorite in this fight. Then we saw the way Tyson Fury looked against Wilder in the second fight. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. And then we saw the hiccup last June. And albeit Joshua did come back and win the rematch and played it safe, jabbed and won almost every round, which is what he did. He played it safe, wanted to get those belts back. And now, you said, Gav, Fury's a minus 200, right?
You said it, Tom. I think if this was a year ago, Joshua, I don't know if he's the favorite or not, but the odds would be more in his favor, I would say.
Yeah.
But then he loses to Ruiz, right? In shocking fashion.
Last year, yeah.
And that changes everything, definitely. So, Fury, obviously, we saw in his second bout against Deontay Wilder, he looked unstoppable.
Oh, my goodness.
So that puts him definitely at a clear favorite. But, hey, man, I guess we'll only find out in 2021, right?
It's amazing because what Wilder was known for, his boxing skills weren't great, but he has that eraser, right? The one right-hand shot.
That one-punch killer.
And in the first Wilder-Fury fight, Fury won every round except the 2 rounds he was knocked down in. And it ends up being a draw, which people were
outraged.
Like, how is that a draw if you win 10 rounds to 2 rounds? It still should have been like 116, 112. Still has a ton of points to work with. But they ended up doing a draw. The rematch became huge. Everyone was talking about it. And everyone said, Fury can do all of what he wants, but sooner or later he's going to get hit, and then he's going to get knocked out.
Right.
Then Tyson Fury comes out, and he was the aggressor, and he ends up knocking Wilder out. And he looked unbelievable. He's a better boxer than Anthony Joshua, pure boxer. The last fight looks like he's a better brawler, too. I mean,
the last fight really showed what he can do, what he can handle. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's the favorite this round. Anthony Joshua I don't think he can handle Tyson Fury anymore.
Well, before that, Joshua is massive in the UK. He's a superstar, and in Europe, he was a megastar. And then his United States debut was against Andy Ruiz, and we see this chubby fighter walk into the ring and I think he was a plus 1100 or something like that.
Plus 1100.
And we were even joking around. Oh, why don't we just put like $10 or $100 on Andy Ruiz? Like, what's the worst thing that can happen, right? Well, he ends up winning, and even though Joshua won the rematch, it's a bit. It's not as he's not the same. Like, it doesn't. He's not this undefeated butt kicker anymore. It's not the same.
Yeah, he went into that fight thinking he would just slap around Andy Ruiz, and that's not what happened. He got more than he expected. Lost the fight, and that hurt him. That hurt his career, hurt his confidence. And that's
definitely hurts him. Definitely hurts his reputation
for sure.
Even though he won the rematch,
even though he won the rematch, he still lost.
Never should have happened.
He still lost. That rematch should never have happened.
Well, it was in the contract, right? Like the A sides, the A sides always get the rematch, right? Because they're saying I'm the money fight, and if I somehow lose, I want it in paper that I get a rematch to get my belts back. So
their assurance there, right?
Right. Yeah, I think the same thing. Like every A side, like Mayweather and all of his contracts, there's a rematch clause if he loses. It never happened, but
right, they need that to maintain the
reassurance, right? That I can get my titles back. But that's the one thing that prolongs this fight to 2021 is because in the Wilder Fury 2 contract, they said if any side loses, there has to be a third fight. And we were all ecstatic for that. Like, yay, we're going to get an amazing fight. That was an ass kicking.
Yeah.
But with all the COVID and everything going on, that fight might not even take place until 2021 because these guys, they're not going to want to fight in front of an empty arena.
They want the fans there.
They want the fans there. They could sell out Wembley if they wanted
for sure.
to. And they have
that would sell out Wembley in a second.
That would sell out the Roman Coliseum.
Yeah.
But I think we're only going to see that in 2021. So that might push back Joshua Fury till 2022 at the earliest.
So you think Wilder fight's only going to happen? It was supposed to be in July, and then they moved it to October.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Okay.
It's still just verbal agreement, right?
Still a verbal agreement. Yeah. I could verbally agree to Johnny to beat him up tonight, which I did.
But you don't have your boxing license, so you'd go to jail for...
I got boxing gloves right there. That's all I need.
You need a license.
It's underground. We don't worry about that.
Exactly. What, they're going to find us out?
Don't talk about the fight.
Johnny will forget all about it after I knock him.
Well, I won't press charges.
But what's interesting is, in this fight, where are they going to do it? Because Fury said, I'm going to focus on becoming a star in the U.S. And he is. He's a huge star in the United States now. Where Anthony Joshua is a megastar in the United Kingdom. They're both British. Would you do it London in the UK? Do you do it Madison Square Garden? Do you do it T-Mobile? What do you think?
I don't know much about the Irish venues or the UK venues, but I think that you got to have it in the United States. That's where the money. That's where it's located. It's where the home base is. Right. It's where the majority of the fan base comes from as well.
Johnny, I don't disagree with you. You finish your thought.
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Fury's already proved himself in the U.S. Right? If I were him, why wouldn't you want to go back home for your third fight, and win in amazing fashion in front of your home crowd?
Well, would it be a pro Joshua crowd or would it be a pure Fury fan? I think it'd be more Joshua fans because in the UK they go crazy for Joshua, and around the world
Fury is more,
Like even Fury said, I'm a gypsy. I don't fight for any flag.
True. You're a good point. That's a good point.
Right, which is true. But if you were to fight Wembley, they can fit 90,000 in that thing, filled, even COVID or not. They'll still show up. Well, 90,000. But let's say they do it end of 2021, early 2022. So hopefully they've got better things around the arena. Maybe they have to wear masks. I don't know what's going to be like in 2 years. But let's assume all is well and the virus is gone. I know that won't be the case, but let's just say.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yes.
Perfect world.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. 90. They could fit easily 90,000. They had 90,000 when Joshua fought Klitschko.
Right.
And if it's Fury,
yeah, for sure, they can easily fill up those 90,000 seats.
But again, it's the U.S. market. It's gonna be.
I don't know. I feel like the U.S. is where the majority of the money comes from. Anyway,
absolutely, no question.
All I can say for sure is that Wilder's gonna walk out looking like Tyson with nothing on but a bathrobe. Because if he wears another 40-pound suit of armor again, he's going down.
It'll give him another excuse, though.
It will give another excuse.
Yeah, that was a weird excuse. That was a weird excuse. Yeah, it was my outfit at time.
Did you guys believe that?
No
chance.
I mean, a 40-pound helmet is definitely gonna hurt you.
Yeah, but still, you know that before you go in.
You should know that. Yeah, they do so many tests beforehand.
Well, if you think about it, you can make that excuse all he wants. If they fought 19 rounds, right? Because it went 12, went the full 12, and it went 7. So it went 19 rounds. Wilder won 2 rounds. and Fury won 17 rounds.
Right.
So he kicked his ass. Besides two punches that Wilder threw, Fury won everything else. So it's gonna be hard to sell the third fight, but people are still gonna watch it because Fury's a megastar. He's not on the McGregor level yet because boxing's still not back where the UFC is now, but he's on his way. If he beats Joshua, if he beats Wilder again and then he beats Joshua, I know Canelo's massive. Canelo's a superstar in Mexico and even in the United States, but he would for sure become the biggest star in boxing,
sure.
no question. But right now, who do you have? If the fight happened tomorrow,
Fury.
I have Fury as well.
Yeah.
You?
I'm telling you.
The Gypsy King.
I have the Gypsy King as well. It's just when going into the Andy Ruiz fight, Joshua. I mean, we all held Joshua so high, and then he loses. Then you don't think of him the same way after that.
Right. It's hard to put him back.
It's hard to put him back to where he was. I mean, I know he still has it, and he displayed that in the rematch. But it's just like he got knocked out by Andy Ruiz Jr. Let that settle in, you know. So
I think we're being a bit mean to Andy Ruiz because
But
going
he's
into
not
that
on
fight,
that level,
when we
you
were
know?
looking at before that fight, he was like 33-1. We're like, why is
Yeah,
this
he's
guy
still
a
great,
plus
though.
1100? He's 33-1. But yeah, I don't.
anyway,
You can still. Could you sell? You could probably even. Let's say Joshua were to lose, right, to Fury. You can still justify doing a Ruiz Joshua 3. People would still buy that because it's
could.
1-1,
You
right?
could.
yeah, you could.
Except it's hard to see, Ruiz winning that fight.
Again?
Because he looked
even if he does lose to
as
Fury.
unstoppable as he did look in the first fight.
He looked. It was
I mean,
opposite the second.
It was the
fight.
opposite.
Yeah.
Like
It's a Buster
Joshua
Douglas thing, you think it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, if you look Buster Douglas when he beat Mike Tyson, his next fight was against Evander Holyfield, and he got the break speed off him.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's just boxing. The heavyweight division's in a great spot right now. You got you had before the fight, three-headed monster and Wilder, Fury, and Joshua, and now you definitely got the two top guys. So boxing's in a great spot right now. Canelo is in a great position right now. Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to be a boxing fan. So, Gav, what's next on the table right now?
Tommy, now the MLB draft is usually nothing too crazy because there's usually 40 rounds. It takes a span of 3 years. You know, each team takes their time with their pick.
Yep.
Well, things are a little different now in the MLB. They shortened it down to 5 rounds. So that changes a lot. Mainly that changes the organizational and the farm systems in the MLB and the MILB. But the Jays got someone pretty decent.
Yep.
That draft was earlier this week, and the Jays got an outfielder from Vanderbilt by the name of Austin Martin. You guys did some research, Tommy. What do we think of Austin Martin?
Well, first of all, that's a baseball name if I ever heard one. Austin Martin. That's a baseball name right there. Well, I was doing some research earlier looking at this guy on the internet and stuff and a few newspaper articles. They said this guy hit 392.
That's impressive.
And he led
That's
Vanderbilt,
very
one of the
impressive.
best collegiate teams in the system. So
They won the College World Series when he was there.
Big names from Vanderbilt. We got Dan
Walker
Swanson,
Buehler.
David Price earlier on.
Great baseball.
Great
program.
baseball school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I was saying, they won the College World Series last year. I mean, so it's hard to when there were 40 rounds in a draft. I mean, my next door neighbor probably got drafted by the Dodgers or something. I wouldn't know.
Right.
But the 5 rounds really changes it because the NFL draft is like an event now. People throw parties for the NFL draft. People do countdowns. The mock drafts are crazy. Everyone wants to do a mock draft. The NFL did something wonderful. They put it in the off season, right, like 3 months after the Super Bowl, so people are craving football. And obviously it helps that college football is huge in the United States. The NHL draft's big here. Even the NBA draft is huge as well. And the baseball draft, I think, was just too long. It's hard to sell people sitting down and watching 40 rounds.
Right. Yeah. If it wasn't for the Bleacher Report notifications,
Right,
I
exactly.
wouldn't even know what was going
And
on.
there was nothing too
Actually,
special about it. I mean, the guys, there's like only the first round is in person. Anything after that, the guys get an email and they say, "Hey, by the way, you've been picked up by the Red Sox or something like that." So it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I think the biggest part about it is that you don't see those guys playing till 3, 4, 5 years after they get drafted.
No matter who you are, you could be
first pick or last pick.
You could be batting 490 for
Right.
Vanderbilt. You can be batting 120 for your high school.
You're
You're still
gotta
going
go
through the
that, yeah,
system. That's the
exactly.
thing.
Now, maybe Did Bryce Harper go straight to the big leagues?
No.
Like right
No,
away?
Bryce-
I don't
no,
think
there's-
anyone's gone straight.
No?
There's
No
not
one's?
Yeah.
hardly anyone. There's a couple guys for the Expos, I think, and a couple guys who went from AA to the majors, but you don't
Never
see many guys
drafted.
Very
You don't
surprised.
see
Yeah.
no. Yeah, a couple
Wow.
years maybe, but I think Harper was 2 years, maybe 3 years max.
And
But everyone, yeah.
maybe that's what also hurts the draft as well, because we all know the number 1 overall pick, even if it's in the NFL or in the NHL, the NBA, they're a starter right away.
Right.
If you're the number 1 pick in the draft, or even a top
You immediately
5
go on the roster. Right.
Exactly, you're a top 10 pick. You're starting
Yeah.
right away.
Anything lottery, you're being picked because your team needs you right now.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Where baseball, if you're saying, like, Babe Ruth could have, no, you got to do 2 years of minor league because you ain't ready yet. I mean, that's crazy. But, yeah, I think 5 rounds. And I also think if they were to put the draft in the offseason, I mean, they put the draft when the season's going on.
Yeah,
Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
weird.
It's not good timing. For
Not at all.
Yeah.
like, put it in January or
Right.
put it in December.
The NFL does it best. They keep you craving more of the sport. Right?
Yeah, ESPN, they posted a picture that was like, oh, by the way, here's the top 10. Like, they just swept it on the rug. And all the comments were like, wait, this was happening?
And
What?
Gav, you're a diehard baseball fan. How many people did you recognize in the top 10?
Absolutely nobody. I mean, I
And-
watched the mock draft, so I knew Austin Martin. I knew Torkelson, the guy who went first.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, I don't follow college baseball unless I live
And
there.
that's a
Right.
problem. Like, I don't want to say it's a problem, but
no
it's
one
what hurts the
follows
draft.
junior-
College baseball is not as big as college football.
Absolutely not.
or-
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
college football, like money-wise, revenue-wise, TV ratings-wise, is the second biggest
Yeah.
sport in America. Number 1's the NFL. Number 2's college football. So football has always been clear-cut number 1. But even the NBA, March Madness, everyone watches March Madness, so you have an idea who the players are, the lottery picks being drafted.
And also, another thing is, some of the best players in baseball,
Mhm.
they get signed. They don't even do the draft because
Right.
where they come from, they don't come from America. They
Right.
come from the Dominican
Puerto
Republic
Rico,
down south.
Dominica,
Exactly, Puerto
yeah.
Rico. places
Like
that.
Altuve, I don't think was drafted.
Where the baseball systems are almost like the youth baseball programs. Like Dominican produces better youth baseball players sometimes than the States does,
Right.
Mhm.
and so they don't go through the draft. They get signed things later on in the road, you know. So half of the guys we don't even see go through the draft, and they end up in the majors. So that's another thing that's lacking with the MLB draft for sure.
For sure. Yeah. There's not enough buzz around the college players.
Yeah, I don't know should college baseball do something to market itself better so we start knowing the players heading into the draft?
It's tough. Like you mentioned March Madness before, right? That's where I learn all the players' names
Yeah.
from watching that tournament, right? I don't watch the regular season.
Yeah.
But in terms of college baseball, maybe I'll watch the World Series. But
They do have the College World Series.
yeah, that's pretty much the only time I watch the sport. And even then, I'm not really focusing as much on, all the players, all the teams. It's really
I
just
just
that.
want to see the jerseys.
Exactly,
And,
yeah.
who wins.
Exactly. It's like game 7, game 6 that matters. I don't really watch anything else.
Well, the other thing is, too, I think this is why people have short attention spans, and they really do. And football is set up beautifully. It's one game a week. Every Saturday for college, every Sunday for football, a team's playing, and that's it. Baseball, sometimes you play 5-6 games a week. And hardcore fans will watch that, but the average person won't.
Right.
And I think that's where that shakes things up a bit, because if you're playing, even the fan bases at your local school, you got exams, you got tests, you got homework, where college football is set up perfectly. Every Saturday, the whole school goes. People from around the state go to the games because it's a Saturday and it's one game a week. I'm telling you, if there was one baseball game a week, I know that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole state in this school would go because
I agree,
there's
man.
one show in town.
Right. Like you said, Saturdays is for college, Sundays is for NFL. Everyone knows that. But baseball, you got 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. You got games Monday to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, and March Madness is wonderful. We love March Madness,
Right.
but regular season college basketball, no one really cares about either.
But this is, we're talking as Canadians here. Like the College World Series, it happens in Omaha, Nebraska.
Right.
Those games sell out. Those games are crowded.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So a different culture
Down,
though,
it's
yeah.
like obviously college football. If there was a college football game on the same day as the College World Series,
Oh my God.
there'd be a lot less people in the
Could
stands.
be
Oh, yeah.
college preseason.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
So
High school football.
High
we don't know
school.
all the facts. We know some they do produce high numbers, like diehard fans go, definitely.
Absolutely.
But nothing compared to football, that's for sure.
And we're not trying to knock college baseball because we love college baseball, but it's a fact.
It just
That-
doesn't
They need
get
another
much
video
attention. Yeah.
They need another
NCAA
video. They need.
05 on the PS2. They need to revamp that for the PS5. And then
Right.
I
That'll
mean,
bring some attention. For
but
sure.
if you look at the president of the United States was at LSU, Alabama.
yeah,
I mean, college football is just miles above
Trump isn't-
everything.
Trump isn't throwing the first pitch at
No.
at Vanderbilt.
I don't think he's been
and
invited.
I don't think he knows where Vanderbilt is, to be honest. But yeah, it's just crazy how people freak out and the amount of money put on college football games. Albeit March Madness, a lot of money's put on March Madness as well.
Yeah, but college football is the whole season.
The whole
And
season.
NBA, college basketball is just that 1 month.
I can tell you, week 1, college football, everyone's watching. Week 1, college basketball, college hockey, college
Doesn't-
baseball.
doesn't get as much attention.
Yeah, but hopefully, I feel like baseball there's room to grow.
I agree.
And I think
I agree.
if they just put the draft in the off season, if they were to make the College World Series a bit more interesting, maybe make some some
Maybe bring that in
variations.
Nebraska for a start, maybe somewhere other than Omaha,
Yeah.
Nebraska.
Well, imagine. Let's just throw an
That's
idea
the
out
idea.
there. Let's say College World Series is going to be at Fenway Park
That would for sure
watch
garner a lot.
or Yankee Stadium
I wanna
or
see these
Wrigley
young guys
Field,
hit balls out of big league parks. I want to see that. I
or
want to
just
see how they play.
and maybe put less games a week and
Yeah, but then
I
you
don't
can't
know.
have as long a season. That's the problem. Right?
Yeah.
It's the long season, you need to have that many games per day.
And also, half the guys getting drafted are in high school anyway. So
Right.
college,
That's true.
it's tough.
Well, even in the NBA, a lot of guys are coming from Europe. I mean,
Yeah,
a
more
lot of
now,
guys.
More now, yeah.
I mean, you could argue the best guy who's been drafted, Luka Doncic, in the last 4 years came from Europe.
Mhm.
Porzingis came from Europe. So basketball is a global game, right? And that helps them out for sure. But I feel like college baseball is a few variations away from the draft being up there with the other 3 leagues. So we have the privilege today of having a college athlete with us, our dear friend Anthony Souls, a longtime friend, and now a member of the show today, who is committed to Queen's University. And he's here to talk a bit about the youth sports season
Mhm.
and his Queen's football team. So, Anthony, welcome to the show.
Hey boys, thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
Pleasure to be here.
So Gav, Gav, if you can answer this, youth sports is doing
U Sports
Nothing.
is done for the fall.
done for the fall.
It wouldn't work. I mean, with the COVID, obviously it's because of the COVID pandemic.
Absolutely,
It just wouldn't work. Too much contact with it. Just they didn't see it. They didn't see it liable. They didn't
For
see
the
it
safety of the players. they
for the
can't
safety
have
of the players, for the safety of the fans, and there's so many sports in the youth sports program.
Mhm.
All it takes is one pandemic to happen, and then youth sports has a lot of rebuilding to do. So I think it's a smart move on their part.
Yep.
But to talk a little bit more about it on a personal level,
Yeah.
affected by it personally is Anthony. So Anthony, how does it affect the training in the off season, knowing that there won't be a season at all?
Well, I'll just start off I think personally it doesn't affect me as much, seeing as though I'd still have the same 4 years afterwards, whereas there'd be people who are in their 5th year or are going to be trying to make a living after their professional or their university career. Sorry. And if they don't have that season to really show themselves to the teams, then it's kind of hard for them to go any further afterwards. So I think it becomes tough for people like that.
Mhm.
Whereas in my case, I think I still have time to really after when this is all over.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So people lose a year of eligibility still with the
I
pandemic?
think the eligibility state you still have your year you still get your year of eligibility. There's no year loss.
Okay.
But some people would just want to move on. Kind of
Right,
thing,
yeah.
'cause they don't want to be there
Right.
for 6 years.
Right, yeah.
They've done their time at Queens. Maybe even the school is a little too expensive for another year, or whatever
Right.
it may be. There's a whole variety of different excuses that you can have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Johnny, you had a
Yeah,
question?
no, it hurts the careers of the players. They
Mhm.
can't go out there and for the last year and show them what they learn, what they can do, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then for the rest of the stuff, so basically the school itself, so Queens itself, I can't speak for any other schools, but
Right.
Queens itself has they're still open. They're still trying to get like their fields opening and their weight rooms opening. That kind of depends more on Ontario and what they have to say about it.
Right.
So if they're opening and their school's allowed to open, I'm still allowed to go to the school, but I wouldn't be. There's the whole OUA program, and any game, like any game by OUA is canceled. So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it work, Gav? Is winter still going on? Or Anthony too, you can answer this as well. Like, right now is winter?
As far as I'm concerned, I believe winter is still going. It's a bit too soon,
to tell
and
him.
I'm sure they can find some variations now. I mean, they got a bit of time. It's still in the summer, but I mean, fall training camps would be starting.
Yeah.
In about a month, right? So, they kind of have to jump on it quick. I don't disagree with them for canceling because U Sports is a relatively smaller, as compared to the States, it's relatively smaller. So if they take a big hit from like lack of ticket sales or just lack of advertising due to the COVID pandemic, that can really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the funds that the American programs do, or like the junior major programs do. So they can't afford to lose the season and to have lower ticket sales and lower advertisements and endorsements. So I think it was a good move just to
it makes more sense
kind of stop
financially.
everything. Yeah, exactly. Stop the bleeding while they can before it gets too bad.
So Anthony, how does your Queens team look right now? Is there going to be a lot of seniors that won't come back, or is you mostly a young group of guys?
Well, they still have their whole decision. They have a lot of decisions to make for the seniors, but I'm not too sure how the team's gonna look per se. But I know that I've talked to the new guys coming up, and I do believe we are a pretty strong group of players. So I am looking forward to that, seeing how everyone is and how we're all I'm looking forward to everyone playing together and hopefully having a decently good season. I know in the past, Queens may not have had the most positive seasons. They've been pretty even or some losses, but they're building, right? So right now they're just in that kind of that awkward stage where they're losing some of their good guys, but they're just waiting for new guys to step up.
Absolutely. So who do you see as the teams that you're competing with right now that you can?
Well, obviously it's everyone knows the best team is Western.
Right. Yeah.
And they they lost to McMaster this year, but so McMaster and Western, they're pretty much the
top dogs.
They're top dogs. And then there's Guelph, which is also very good. And then I'd say it's those top three teams, and the rest, including Queens, are kind of in the middle. But I think things are going to change. People are going to lose their best seniors. They're going to lose players because of this. So honestly, I think anything can happen.
Yeah, Gav, you want to...
Now, Souls, walk us through the recruitment process for us. Because, as we all know, we're all football players here. Not as gifted as Anthony Souls is.
We retired early,
I mean, Queens, they offer me more money not to play football.
Yeah.
So, I'm not speaking from experience. Souls, just walk us through, how did they reach out to you? Why did you choose Queens? What was attractive? And what did they promise you, pretty much?
I'll start with how it all works. So essentially, it's not really how it looks on TV. Maybe in the States it is, but I know for Canada it's a little different. It's more of a softer approach in the sense that it's kind of like they start texting you, they start talking to you, start saying like we're interested and we're looking at your film, and then as if they really like who you are and how you're talking to them and the kind of person you are, they may ask you to come for like an official visit or for an unofficial visit, and then once you start. I think you have a max of 3 official visits, so that's when they pay for your train ride over, they pay for your hotel stays. So I think you have 3 of those, and once you start, you kind of start building a bond with people, and you start meeting their players. You meet the coaches, you maybe go for a few practices, go in the weight room, so you kind of just get a vibe of what every team is kind of like. So and then for my personal experiences, I narrowed it down to 3 teams, and then I just had to make the choice. So in the sense, you just had to text them, and then with this whole virus, had to be online. So my choice was during the virus, so they had to send me like a whole it all through the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
So Because I know you've told me you had a few offers, like quite a few offers coming out of prep school. How do you narrow it down to like 3? Is it academics play a part? I know the team must play a part. You want to win.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So I'll start with why I chose Queens.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked how it was. So I'll start with I went to prep school in Ontario just to do something kind of different, and I really liked that whole experience.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought so that kind of led me to thinking that to know that I like being away from home, like not in a bad sense, just in the sense that I like being on my own and I like doing new things. So what I really wanted was to be away from home but still be able to go home whenever I desired. If my friends were doing something that weekend, if I had to be back for something, then I just kind of liked that idea. So for example, I was looking at one of the schools I was looking at was UBC out in British Columbia.
Yeah.
And the big deal for me was that it was a little too far. So if I had one of my close friends' birthday one weekend or anything really that I had to be back for, it was kind of just I'm stuck in Vancouver. Not that it's bad to be stuck in Vancouver.
Yeah, there's worse places to be stuck.
Yeah, a lot worse places. But yeah, it's just like that whole just being close to home but being away from home was a huge attraction. And also just I think Queens is a lot in the football sense. I think Queens has a lot of room to is going to improve a lot in the upcoming years. So I want to be a part of that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, your brother Matt Souls, he was also committed to Queens, but he actually decided to transfer over to McGill University. Is there any sort of sibling rivalry now? Like, do you guys ever see each other on the gridiron? Is he gonna make fun of you for sticking in Kingston and not coming back to the big city?
I hope not. I guess we'll see. It's not likely that Queens plays McGill unless it's an exhibition. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see.
Hey, if you guys make it to the playoffs, who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know if McGill's gonna beat Laval and those guys.
Yeah.
That's a big if, Johnny. But yeah, so Anthony, thank you for being on the show as always.
Yeah,
we look forward to having you on again.
Sure.
That is Queens future star running back Anthony Souls on the Tommy John Show, and it's always a pleasure to have people on. So Gavin, why don't you walk us what's next on it? I love just calling Gav's name, saying Gav, what's next?
It's a good name, but don't use it too much.
I won't use it too much. Don't worry. Absolutely. So Gav, what's next on the table for us?
All right, so next up, we're gonna stay in the college sports realm.
Ooh, I like
we got
it.
some news coming.
I like it.
College athletes are going to start getting paid now, and a lot of people think that's long overdue. I believe so. I mean, they generate so much money for the school. I think it's about time that they start seeing some of that.
Sure.
No question.
But we got some states here. So Florida, California, Texas, Kentucky, and North Carolina. They've all signed on to start paying athletes or letting
they can
athletes
make money off their name.
Not necessarily paying athletes, but letting them make money. So what do you guys think?
Well, it's about damn time. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they say they give them a free ride or a free tuition, but come on. These players, especially in football and basketball, are giving them, the athletes are bringing them billions and billions of dollars.
For sure.
Billions of dollars. And the fact that these athletes, I don't even know how long, since the late 1800s, college football has been prevalent in the United States. So for over a century, these players have put their blood, sweat, and tears in these programs, albeit for themselves, to make it into the NFL where the real money is. But not every college football player makes it in the NFL. And they go to their daytime job like the rest of us later on in life. But a lot of these guys are superstars in college, and they don't make it in the pros. And know what they have to show for it? Yeah, they got a diploma on the wall, but
if that.
Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Brian Bosworth, right? I know he made a lot of money afterwards, but Brian Bosworth in the 80s was the boss. He was the coolest thing going, and his NFL career didn't pan out. But the amount of money he brought to the University of Oklahoma was insane. And the fact that athletes like this are not getting paid or not making money off themselves. It's not like this school is paying them. They just want to make money off themselves. They want to sell their jerseys. Or they want to be in a video game. I mean, come on. It's thank the states of Florida and California and North Carolina. Good on you. And I believe the NCAA is working for a few years that they can make money off the whole every school can do that, but these states allowing it this summer, I mean, good on them, absolutely.
I mean, I can see why they weren't paying them because, like I said, the athletes definitely make a lot of money, but the colleges spend a lot of money to get them there. Like they spend, like Anthony was talking about, they pay for all the visits for the recruits, they pay for their tuition, and tuition in the States nothing to laugh at. Like if like a four-year program can be 6 figures plus.
Sure.
So
yeah.
for a person that's not as financially stable, from a family that's not as financially stable or financially wealthy, that's getting their whole tuition comp. That's massive, and the fact that they can play the sports, they get their room and board free, they get their traveling free, they get free food. Heck, that's massive. But at the same time, like guys like Trevor Lawrence are making so much money for not only Clemson but the sport of college football itself. So they deserve to.
Well, like I was saying again, they are bringing it. I know it's, let's say you do 4 years at like $50,000 a year usually at these schools, or $60,000 a year. So you're bringing in, that's like a few $100,000. These kids are bringing in billions of dollars. And when my mom went to Oklahoma for 1 year, and when she was at Oklahoma, she said the college football team itself, just on the TV deal alone, paid for all of the Oklahoma sports teams, whether it was women's softball, whether it was baseball, whether it was croquet. The TV deal alone at Oklahoma for their football games covered everything else. Not to mention they made money from people going to the sold-out games with 80,000+. Not to mention just the T-shirts that say Oklahoma football on
concessions,
it.
Right.
Concessions. I mean, they are bringing so much money. And these kids, a lot of them, I say, how many kids? There's 50 guys on a roster, 60 guys?
About.
And how many people get drafted into the NFL every year? 200?
Maybe one from each team.
Maybe one from each team.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're Alabama or LSU. Yeah. But so let's say there's 200 and some odd kids who get drafted. And there's 130 teams. So 60, so like 1-2% go to the National Football League. What about the other 90 some odd percent that bring these institutions billions of dollars? Like, what do you say, Johnny?
They deserve to be compensated. Like, it's already been happening already. The players have been paid, under the table stuff, right?
The Reggie Bush thing coming along. He got reinstated at USC, right?
Right. They finally let him back in.
I know.
Like we've had all these scandals recently about people paying their players to come to the school instead of this one, right? And that's already been happening. That's going to happen. It's continue to happen, right? I think now that they finally allow players to make money, not only is it more security for the players, right? Even if they don't make it to the next level, they still have something to fall back on. But it gets rid of those scandalous type deals that were already happening, will continue to happen for sure.
Absolutely, no question. What did you want to say? Yeah.
Well, we're looking at the big teams like Clemson, Alabama, but you got to look at the little guys too, like the guys in Div 3, like University of Vermont or something like that. These guys, now that they have an opportunity to make some sort of coin, because they're going to these schools and they have the same rough schedules as the guys at Bama do.
Right.
But they're just not playing on ESPN. They're still taking weird courses that won't exactly get them a stable job.
Absolutely.
Because they still have to save time for their football program. And then they get out of school, and then all they can do is coach football. So now they have the opportunity to make some, even if it's from a local pizza restaurant or something like that. They have an opportunity to make some cash, get some jobs under their belt before they graduate. I think that's great.
It's really great,
sure.
and I think what the NCAA was freaking out about is, we're not paying our athletes. Well, it's not coming out of the NCAA's pocket, right? It's not like the NCAA. It's not like they're signing a contract like in the NFL, 5 years, $100 million. It's not like that. It's just they want to get paid off their name. Imagine how many Trevor Lawrence jerseys would be sold. Imagine how many last year. How many Joe Burrow jerseys would have been sold? Or Tua jerseys.
Are you kidding?
I mean, that's a lot of money. And for these kids, and for the kids who go to Vermont, or not to call it Vermont, in football, I know like lacrosse and other sports, they're huge. But we're focusing on college football and basketball, right? Because those are the two top dogs. They will be making money off their jersey sales, off the video game, right? So that's where the NCAA made a huge issue out of nothing. They're like, we're not paying our athletes. We're not asking you to pay your athletes.
That was never the discussion, right?
That was never the problem. The problem is we want to make money off us. We're marketing ourselves. Exactly. And in basketball especially, that's a sport that revolves around stars, right? It's a star-driven – basketball is a star-driven sport. I couldn't tell you another player on the Lonzo Ball UCLA – maybe I could. On the Lonzo Ball –
you have to really think about it.
You have to really think about it. And the Trae Young Oklahoma team, I can't tell you. But –
it's very true. It's a very good point, Tommy. You only know those top 2 or 3 guys from each team.
In football, it's a bit different, but in basketball, that's the case. In football, it's the programs you fall in love with, which is 100% true. But then once every year, you have that one player who sticks out, and you want to get his jersey, and he ain't getting compensated for it. So it's great on those states to do it, and I think the NCAA said in 2 years they're going to allow it or something like that.
We said California, Florida, Texas, 3 of the
North Carolina. Well, there you go. Right. And North Carolina for basketball, UNC and Duke are both in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So
that's 2. Yeah, exactly. I think that as time goes on, we'll have a lot more states being able to compensate their players.
But at the end of the day, if a 14-year-old TikTok star can support her family off of doing dances, then a 19, 20, 21-year-old athlete should be able to do the same and make money off of football to support. Because a lot of these guys have families at this age.
Yeah.
They have kids. They have wives. They need to support their family one way or another. Mm-hmm. So, they should get paid.
And not to call it these TikTok stars and YouTube people who are making millions of dollars at a younger age, but these athletes are bringing in a hell of a lot more money than those people are because people don't realize how big TV deals are. But even in the NFL and the NHL and in like the 4 major sports, what determines the salary cap is how big the next TV deal is because the TV deals are massive.
Right.
So what these kids bring in, I know I'm saying this over and over again, but I just can't believe it's taking so long for this to happen. I mean, they are bringing in billions of dollars, and it's about time that they get rewarded for it. Right. And Johnny, you totally agree, right?
I think
we all agree on this.
I think it's hard not to agree on it, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest reason it didn't happen yet is because the NCAA was worried about paying every player a salary, but that's not what they're fighting for, right? They're fighting for, like you said, being able to go to a pizza place and put their photo up there for a couple $100 a month, right?
Exactly. That's a lot for a college.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the other thing is, I think why the NCAA caved was because Adam Silver is doing a great job in the NBA, and he saw. I think what really sparked it was the Zion scare when his shoe exploded and people thought it could have been a career-ending injury. Zion was going to be the biggest thing since LeBron James. Imagine if he got hurt before he made it to the NBA. Mm-hmm. And he loses literally hundreds of millions of dollars. And then Adam Silver says, you know what, we're thinking of moving the NBA eligibility to 18. And you know what that does? You can go straight from high school, pull a LeBron, and go straight to the National Basketball Association. The NCAA panicked because March Madness won't be the same if the cream of the crop ain't there. So then they're like, oh, we have to do something. Well, they realized it ain't a battle worth losing. It's not worth it losing these top players than for you losing billions of dollars, right?
I think, like we've seen, I remember hearing stories about D1 players talking to go play in the G League.
Yeah.
Instead, get a salary, right? And there's a guy who played in the XFL instead of playing for college just so he can get money to support his family, right? There's all these stories popping up about players needing to support their family, players need money. And I think that's why it's the best time now to allow the players to do whatever they can with their own name.
Well, and even LaMelo Ball, right, was supposed to go to UCLA, and then his dad made his own shoe.
Right.
And then there goes your eligibility.
You can't make money, yeah.
And he went the professional route, and now he's going to be a lottery pick. So there's so many different people don't realize how many different ways there are to get to a professional sports league. But in football and basketball, the main two are definitely the NCAA, and I salute them for finally coming to their senses, and the states finally realizing what the main issue was.
For sure.
So, Gav, we're going to move over to our hometown hockey team, I believe, right? The Montreal Canadiens are in the news, as always, in this city.
Big news. So, main thing that we got from this is that looks like Marc Bergevin is going to be sticking with us.
All right.
Recent news shows that owner and CEO of the Habs, Jeff Molson, he's got no plans of surrendering any of his titles.
Mm-hmm.
So that basically means that Marc Bergevin is going to be sticking around. What do you guys think about that?
See, it's a tricky question because if we look at how long has Bergevin's been here a while. He's been here for at least 6 years, 7 years. He's been there a long time. Do they have the cups to show for it? No, they do not. Have they been a perennial contender? No.
Negative.
But it depends what we're looking at. If we look at where Bergevin was when he started and where they are, sure, it's a bit of an up, but it's not. And this city are starving for a Stanley Cup championship. So I get why they're sticking. I think the quote they're saying, considering what the expectations were for this year, we felt like they surpassed it. That is true. If you looked at this roster beginning of the year, they were not a playoff team. And they weren't a playoff team until this pandemic hit, and albeit now they're a playoff team.
Saving grace for them.
Saving grace for them, absolutely. So if we're going on expectations, right, they surpass it. But Montreal is, at least before this era, was known for winning, right? 24 Stanley Cups, winning tradition, we're Canada's team, all that stuff. Well, in the last 20 years, it hasn't been that way. So if we're looking at if we want to be a competitive team, if we want to be a playoff team every year, Bergevin's your guy, 100%. But if you want to crack the top where the Chicago Blackhawks were, where the Penguins were, where St. Louis and Boston and those teams are, and where the Kings were, right? You got to make that big changes. And I feel like if Bergevin wants to be an elite GM, he has to make that move. Because Carey Price and Weber, they're not getting any younger, right?
No.
And those are the core of their team.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And they got to make a move. Like, they have to... You look at their forwards. I mean... No wonder their expectations are so low.
Right. They don't got much to back it up, yeah.
And it's going to be... If they get through Pittsburgh, I mean, I don't think they will. And I'm rooting for them to get past Pittsburgh, but come on. On paper, you're like, really? Really? We have Danault going against Crosby? Really? We have
I don't think many people
Tatar
expect
going
it,
against
yeah.
Malkin?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, Gav, you can chime in here too. If Montreal, they're still a crazy young team, but
That's the
if
thing.
they want to crack that top where I think they want to be, I think where everyone in this city thinks they still are, I hate to break to you, they aren't in that category anymore. You're not Chicago. You're not Pittsburgh. It's just they're not there anymore. And it's same with the Cowboys. The Cowboys still think they're the Cowboys of the 1990s. They aren't the Cowboys of the 1990s. You haven't done anything since then. And now I feel like the bar's been a bit lower. It's been lower now for the Canadiens. But if they want to get there, Bergevin's got to make a few moves, Gav. Like,
Well, I mean, Molson has confidence in Bergevin. He thinks he's got experience, which he does.
he does. Absolutely, no
They
question.
see he's one of the most respected general managers in the league, which he does.
Mhm.
Which he is, sorry. And Molson said it himself. He said that they have an exciting couple of years coming up. I mean, they were looking at the past couple of years kind of a reset. They've got some decent guys in the organization. I think it's Caulfield.
Holden Caulfield. I was gonna say Holden Caulfield. No,
yeah. Yeah, he's coming.
no,
He's
what's his
very hungry.
Is
I must have
it
missed
the
that
guy
chat.
from Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think it's.
Holden Caulfield's
it's-
from The Catcher in the Rye.
Great novel.
Anyway,
Great
the guy from
novel,
Wisconsin, they drafted him pretty high in the first
Yeah, I think
round
it's
last
Cole
year.
Caulfield.
Cole Caulfield, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Holden Caulfield.
Holden Caulfield, yeah, the Catcher in the Rye. I must have missed that chapter when we were reading it, where he gets drafted.
Yeah. Walks around New York City. Oh, I get drafted by Montreal. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, I guess they're relying on him. They got some decent prospects, I think, over in Laval and maybe in the ECHL.
Well, Suzuki looks great, right?
They said they got some core players right now. And Suzuki, Domi, they're definitely some of them. Weber, obviously. So
And they got
they're relying
Mete
on that-
and a few guys on the
they're
back
relying
end.
on that
Yeah.
core, and then I guess some young guys to start moving up. But I mean, Caulfield, he's still in NCAA. I don't know what his plans are.
And we keep forgetting this guy. Ryan Paling is an amazing hockey player. He scored 4 goals a hat trick and a shootout winner in his first game in the NHL. Wow. And he hasn't really been able to crack the lineup. And then don't forget, Kotkaniemi was the 3rd overall pick. And at the end of this year, he was playing in the AHL. Is it the AHL, Gav? Right under, right? And Laval's the AHL, right?
Laval's in the ECHL.
But Kotkaniemi, right? He was highly touted.
Yeah, now he...
And Tkachuk was right there at 4, and they took Kotkaniemi. Tkachuk was in the All-Star game this year, and Kotkaniemi is playing for the Laval Rockets.
Yeah, that's devastating. But
I mean, it's too hard to judge at this age, right?
Like, there were 24 guys drafted, or 23 guys drafted before Mike Trout a couple years ago.
Right,
and
it's just hard to tell.
1/3 of them, I think, gave up on baseball. So it's hard to tell in the draft.
But yeah, so I feel like after this year at the roster they have, he deserves definitely to come back.
I think so.
No
too.
question.
They have nothing to lose.
They have nothing to lose. I'm saying in these next few years, because I feel like he's on a leash a bit, he's got to make some moves, right?
I think they may be committing to a longer rebuild just by keeping him in the office there. They could, get rid of him, put someone new in, and that maybe take them a step. But I think they're focusing on, developing their younger guys and, slowly getting to that point where they can win a couple games,
But, I mean, the other than the ice, the players and the guys on the ice, the CH, which is like the parent company for the Habs. They've got some uncertainties too going into next season.
Right.
Obviously with the coronavirus and the pandemic still going on, and I think the premier just Legault just decided on max gatherings of 50 people, and the Bell Center fits 21,000 people. So
baby steps.
Baby steps, but even next year we might be playing in front of an empty crowd. So. It's gonna be something weird.
Well, something else we have to talk about. Ticket sales are going up, right? I think my grandfather has season tickets for the Canadiens. Prices are going up, and they weren't selling out every game because the fans are like, "Well, why are we paying all this money for a borderline playoff team, right?" And that is true. And
what's the waiting list for the?
Oh, it's a long time. I don't know the exact number. I don't want to be.
More than 10 years, I think, and that could be. That's on the shorter side. So.
I mean, obviously, the safe route is keep Bergevin. If you like what's going on, feels like we've been rebuilding for 10 years. But if they want to keep that path, he's your guy. But I feel like you said, he ain't going anywhere. There's two routes. You wait and keep developing these players, or you go and make a push. Because you have one of the great goalies of our time in Carey Price, who feels like he's wasted his career, right?
How many good
just
years
being part of rebuilds.
Yeah.
I know he's getting paid handsomely for it, but I mean, I feel bad for guys like Carey and Shea Weber, who,
like you said, he's not getting any younger.
He's not getting any younger. I mean, look at that year he won the MVP. He was phenomenal. They were winning games 1-0, just because he was stopping everything. I mean, so he feels like he's put his heart and soul into this, and he feels like, I think some of the older guys would be like, "Come on, let's get some guys here and make a cup run."
I agree.
But so we have faith in Bergevin that he can maybe bring a cup team in a few years from now. They're way too young now, but it's hard to tell. And maybe they can trade. Maybe they're even going to trade a price for assets. Who knows? I mean, at this rate,
that might be a move to make.
Absolutely,
if they're committed to a couple of years rebuild.
Absolutely. So we're going to transition over to the National Basketball Association.
That's exactly what we're going to do, Tommy.
And I remember last episode we got a question from a proposal from our dear friend of the show, Anthony McCall, who said, "Do your NBA playoff predictions." And our show was jam-packed last time. We didn't get to it. But we're going to get to it right now, Johnny.
For sure.
The NBA playoffs are scheduled, or the play-in, scheduled to start July 31st in Orlando. And, Gav, can you run us through where it was when we left off?
I will do that. So I'll read out, first of all, the standings in the East.
Yes, that's what I wanted. Yeah,
so
I didn't phrase that properly.
Number one, obviously, we got the Milwaukee Bucks.
And this is in the East, right?
This is in the East, yeah.
No
Followed
question.
by Toronto Raptors, then Boston Celtics, Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers, Philadelphia 76ers, Brooklyn Nets, Orlando Magic, and finally in the 9th spot, the Washington Wizards.
All right. So I believe every team's clinched except for Orlando.
The bottom two, yeah.
Orlando and the Wizards. And how many games back is Washington?
Washington's 5.5 games back.
So they got that's a lot of ground to make up in 8 games.
Especially when, Orlando's not that half a bad team, right? I think they were below 500, but almost at that 500 level. I don't think that Washington is going to win 5.5 games, let alone I think they're going to win 3 games.
All right. So are we cool with this is what we'll do. I think it's going to stay the same.
Yeah.
So Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Indiana, Philly, Miami, all those teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn, and so we're just gonna stay the same. I don't feel like there's enough time
for Washington. Yeah, Washington can't make it up.
Yeah, and the West is far more competitive
The West
because
is a lot more competitive.
there's 13 teams vying for that playoff spot. So, Gav, can you run us through the West standings right now?
So, number 1, we got the Los Angeles Lakers,
Mhm.
followed closely by the Clippers. Then we got the Denver Nuggets, Utah Jazz, Oklahoma City Thunder, Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, Memphis Grizzlies, Portland Trail Blazers, New Orleans Pelicans, Sacramento Kings, San Antonio Spurs, and finally at 13, the Phoenix Suns, who are 6 games behind.
And I know we have a lot of Suns fans who are fans of the show, but I think like there's 6. I think the rule was right. You have to be 6 games back to get in, while the Suns were literally right at those 6 games. So the Suns have a lot of ground to make up. And when I say a lot.
Yeah, I don't think that the Suns are. I don't think they have a chance of winning 6 games. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a chance they win 6 games.
Oh man, that's a lot of ground. So I don't think so. But this is where it gets interesting. How many games back are the Spurs, Gav? I think, like you said, there were 12, right?
4. The Spurs are 4 games back.
They got DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
What's
He's
that?
out the rest of the season.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's it. Well, there you go.
Shoulder injury.
Well, I think he knows it's over. So I don't see Popovich is arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time.
He's got.
But he just doesn't have. He always had that guy. He had Robinson, then he got Duncan, he had Kawhi, and now it's kind of is it DeMar?
But he's not at the same level as those other guys.
And there's rumors he wants out.
Which probably is a smart move for San Antonio.
I mean, yeah. So it's hard to tell what's exactly going to happen down in Texas. But so we don't think the Spurs are going to get in, right?
I don't think so.
And then now I feel like we got like 3 teams, Gav, right? At 3.5. I was looking at it this morning.
Right, yeah. So Portland, NOLA, New Orleans, and Sacramento, they're all 9, 10, 11. They're all 3.5 games back.
This is interesting. I don't know if Sacramento has the horses. They have Marvin Bagley. They have DeAndre Fox. And they have
I think they're too young of a team.
Buddy Hield, right?
Yeah, I don't think they have.
And the other thing is, I'm not a huge Luke Walton guy. I'm just not. I saw the way he managed the Lakers last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even know what it was. It was like give LeBron the ball, which is smart. But then he had Lonzo Ball just standing in the corner. And he just had Ingram standing in the corner. I mean, if you look at them this year, I mean, the bottom half of the West is just... Golden State was not good whatsoever, right?
Yeah, no, they were. They
had
had
injury,
no
albeit
yeah.
injuries,
The
right?
starting lineup was guys they brought up from the G League.
Right.
Yeah.
So the bottom half of the West was really bad, and Sacramento feasted on teams like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just right now it's New Orleans and Portland vying for that spot.
I think Portland's the only one who has a shot of.
You don't think New Orleans?
They only have Zion and Brandon Ingram.
And that's mean,
Who
man.
else?
Lonzo Ball.
Oh yeah, I forgot
This
about him.
Lonzo-
Oh, you did not forget about Lonzo Ball. You did not forget about Lonzo.
As a point guard.
Oh
Brandon
yeah. Real funny, Johnny.
Well, a guy who averages 8 and 8 isn't really that much. Of a,
If you look right before the pandemic hit, Lonzo Ball was balling. Ingram was an all-star, and Zion's the most talked about player since LeBron James. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. No. I don't. I feel like Portland is gonna take Memphis out.
That doesn't. Who's the 7 seed, Gavin, in the West?
It's Dallas.
Dallas Mavericks.
So it's Dallas then Memphis, right?
Dallas is getting in.
Yeah. I do like that Portland over Memphis. I agree with you there, Tommy.
I feel like Ja and Jackson and all they're too young.
Yeah.
And if they have to face Portland in the play-in,
Portland with Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, they've been there before.
and they said Nurkic is going to be healthy too.
Nurkic and Whiteside. Yeah, I think
they were the 3 seed or 4 seed in the West last year, and then they were plagued with injuries, right?
I think Portland might even make it up to that 7 seed if they have
That's going to be
Nurkic coming
interesting.
back.
But let's say it's Mavericks and Grizzlies. I'm taking Dallas.
Yeah.
So for our sake, we're going to do a joint bracket, okay? We're going to do a Tommy John bracket.
Okay, I like it.
We'll put Portland 8, and we'll put Dallas stays at 7. All right? So now here we go. The play-in's over. We're back to our regulars.
Portland's
We're gonna put Portland 8. We feel like
We're picking on
Memphis, because if they get within 2 games or something, right?
Yeah.
There's the play-in,
Exactly.
and I feel like head-to-head, Portland would take Memphis.
100%.
Mm-hmm. So now we're back to our regularly scheduled programming, regular NBA playoff style. We're back, right?
Let's do it.
So Gav, we got 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. So let's go through the Eastern
All right,
Conference.
so the Eastern, we have the Milwaukee Bucks will be facing the Orlando Magic, because there's no way in heck the Wizards are.
Very true. Very true.
Sorry.
Very true.
For the 3 Wizards fans in the world.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm kidding. So yeah, Milwaukee versus Orlando.
Shout out to Bradley Beal while you said that.
Free him.
And John
Free
Wall. Hopefully he
Then we
comes
also
back.
have the Raptors and the Nets.
All right.
And then
That might be good.
the Celtics and the 76ers. And then finally the Heat and the Pacers.
All right. Let's start with Milwaukee and Orlando, right? Is it Orlando? Yeah.
Yeah.
Milwaukee? Could we just cut the chase?
We
cut
could
to
just skip that one.
Skip that
Let's
one.
not waste time here.
Yeah, Milwaukee. No question.
Yeah.
They had the best record in the NBA this year, and he could win the MVP again, Giannis. So,
Arguably the best.
and
player in the league.
Budenholzer's an amazing head coach, and Chris
Plus
Middleton.
Middleton.
We everyone knows about Milwaukee. You know, Milwaukee in 4, right, or
Most
5. If it's
I'd
5,
be
maybe.
5 max, but not 6.
All right, so Milwaukee, no question.
All right,
Now we got
question. Next up, we got the Raptors and the Nets.
the
I
reigning,
like this.
defending NBA champions.
I like this matchup a lot. Raptors Nets.
That'd be a good game for sure.
I'll go Raptors in 6,
You want
because
to write down the? You want to write down?
yeah, write this down.
No, in game, like the games. You think? Like how many games you're gonna win in?
I'll go. You want to say
No,
6,
okay,
7?
I'll write this down. All right. So
You write this
said
down. Yeah, you got
the
this.
Bucks are gonna sweep.
Yeah.
We're gonna put 4 or 5. We'll put 4. We'll put 4. We'll go. We're not going out on a limb
Yeah,
by any means.
Raptors in 6.
No, we're big
Raptors in 6.
All right. Next up, the Celtics and the 76ers.
And if I may, I don't know if Kyrie playing. Is Kyrie gonna play?
I think that's what I'm debating. If Kyrie comes back, does that?
They still losing.
You think they still lose? I don't know, man.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Who does Toronto really have?
See, but Toronto. This is where it is. Toronto's a
Wow.
team. Toronto's a team.
Okay. Okay.
They don't
but
have
still.
They don't have. Siakam's about to be a star. He was an all-star starter,
Yeah,
right? He's
I'm
a
not saying
tremendous
he's not-
player.
Yeah, but
But they're a
who
team.
else?
They're a team. No, Nick
when it
Nurse is
comes
an
to-
amazing head coach.
I'm not saying he's
Van
not a good head
Vliet,
coach.
you see, they're deep. They're really
I know,
deep.
but
They
you
have
got- when you got-
Lowry,
you got
Lowry.
Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie,
But
Karis LeVert. What's his name? The
Or
big
if
guy, Jared
Durant,
Allen.
if Durant is playing, I take Brooklyn. I'm not saying that,
That's
but Kyrie
fair.
by himself, Toronto defensively are
Oh,
great.
Kyrie's been there though. It has a. I know the Raptors have been there too, but
Yeah, the
I
Raptors
don't know.
won.
The Raptors don't win without Kawhi. Cleveland doesn't win without.
Well, I'm not saying that,
Cleveland
but
doesn't
I'm
win
not saying the
without
Raptors
Kyrie.
winning the chip. I'm not saying the Raptors are going to win a chip, but we're talking against Brooklyn,
Okay.
first round.
I'll say Game 7. They go to.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna say.
We're a
7
joint
games.
bracket. I
7
say
games.
6. So 6.5. Fine. You say one. You
7.
want to go 7? You go 7.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's 6. So Gav,
I'm
no
saying
matter
7.
what, Toronto's moving on in our
Right. Okay.
in our bracket. So 6 or 7. Why are we splitting the hairs?
Well,
Okay.
Accuracy.
You think Kyrie's gonna go for 70?
All right.
you never know.
You never know.
Next
All right.
game, Celtics.
Celtics in 4.
Celtics in 4. You're losing.
No, 6.
Philly in 7.
Celtics.
What?
I'm
No,
just
I
kidding,
have
I'm just
I have
kidding.
Boston. So what do we do here?
No,
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
the problem with the
okay.
joint
Gav's the
bracket-
tiebreaker. Gav's tiebreaker. So if you really think Philly's
I
gonna
don't
be
think-
Boston,
let me think about this.
Let your hatred
Yeah,
from
I
Boston
gotta
brush
let
it aside.
My biases, they gotta let them go.
Because I don't feel like making 2
Um,
brackets because that's too much thinking. And,
Yeah, too much back and forth. No, I do think Boston will win.
There you
I
go.
do think Boston.
Right answer.
All right.
I'm looking at it. I think it's gonna go 6,
Yeah,
maybe 7.
It's gonna
But
be a good series.
Tatum has been amazing this year. Kemba's been amazing, and
much
I think Brad
uncertainty.
Stevens is a
Yeah.
top 3 coach in the league. And Al Horford, Philly, you can have him. I've seen the way he's playing this year.
Yeah, there's too much uncertainty with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons.
Mhm.
Who else they have?
Yeah,
They still have
Tobias
Tobias
Harris.
Harris?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still got.
A team doesn't work well together.
They went. Believe it or not, losing JJ Redick was huge for them because they don't have the same amount of shooting as they
Right.
did last year when they played.
He averaged 20 points a game all on threes.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that
it's hard
shooter's
to
really
take that
bad.
out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Al Horford, not the same guy he was. Tobias Harris, they gave him like, I don't even know. It was a crazy amount of money to be the 3rd guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and Embiid hasn't looked the same this year.
He's been
Ben
getting
Simmons looks good, but
He can't.
he
lead a
can't
team.
hit a
Yeah.
3 to save his life. So we're going Boston in 6. I'll go Celtics in 6.
All right, Celtics.
I'll take
All right,
that.
next up, last game last setup in the East.
Excuse me.
Miami versus Indiana.
That's a series. That is a great series.
Oh man, Miami, Indiana. I like Miami. I really like Miami.
It's close because Indiana, you got Oladipo's there, right? Sabonis, Brogdon. They're a great coach team as well. I'll go Heat in 7, but that's an amazing series.
Yeah,
That's not the
I agree
flashiest of
it's gonna go to- I
series.
agree it's gonna go to 7.
Not the flashiest of series by any means, but we'll go Miami.
It's gonna
So
be
I think
like-
we picked all the
yeah.
favorites here.
Yeah, you guys are
We
really
pretty much
original,
did.
man. One, two,
I know
three,
we're
gonna move
we're
on.
really
Wow.
going on a limb here. We're
It's almost like
picked.
someone set that up.
Yeah, I know. So we got 1, 4, 2, 3.
Yeah. Okay.
And do we go to the West or
We'll do
just
the West.
finish the East or up to you?
No, we'll do round by round.
Okay, round by
Yeah.
round.
All right, so round by round. So now you want me to do the East?
So now do West.
Okay,
We'll do,
West, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
It's all good.
West
Yeah.
first round,
It's
yeah.
this is
So-
confusing without a physical bracket.
So we're
but
gonna. Are we saying is Portland?
we're saying Portland's in
Portland
and
over
yeah.
Memphis.
and Memphis out. Dallas stays 7.
All right. Let me just hack here. Okay, perfect. All right. So first game we got the Lakers versus our Trailblazers.
I'll go Lakers in 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say
5. Yeah, I feel like
I'll give Portland a game.
Damian and CJ can get them 1 in Portland. I feel like a game 3, game 4.
Yeah, when they're at home.
Yeah, they might get 1 in like overtime. But LeBron and AD, I mean, that's all you need.
I can't compete with LeBron in the playoffs.
And we forget because they weren't in the playoffs last year and LeBron was hurt, so he didn't make the playoffs. The last time we saw LeBron in the playoffs was when he carried that Cavs team to the finals. He was one of the best performers I've ever seen in the playoffs.
For sure. He had like 2 buzzer beater
And now,
shots.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
It's crazy.
And he dropped 51, and then JR didn't know the score.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
But
and that's why he's still in.
and that where is JR? Is he
Outside.
even? Yeah, he's
He's a free agent.
So we both have LeBron and AD. I mean, 2 top 5 players in the league. Lakers in 5.
Lakers.
For
All right. Next up, LA versus the Mavs.
Oh, that's a series, eh?
It's hard
I'm not saying
hard
it's-
not to give it to the Clippers though.
I'm giving it. That's gonna. I'll go Clippers in 6. 6.
Yeah.
Doncic and Porzingis are gonna get them too. I
It's
think
too early for them though, you know.
they're babies.
Yeah.
But you talk about in 2 years, Dallas might run the West.
As much
With
as
the
as
two-headed
much as I hate
monster.
Porzingis, I agree. And they're going to be dangerous in a couple of years.
Absolutely. I'm gonna watch every second of that series. There's gonna be fireworks everywhere.
sure.
But Kawhi, Paul George, the depth. They got Morris at the
Yeah.
trade deadline. Yeah, we'll go Clippers.
All right. Next up, Denver versus OKC. No, did I say no? Sorry, Denver versus the Rockets.
I'm going Denver.
I'm going Rockets. Huh? I
Oh.
like the Rockets.
Oh,
man. I
my
really like the
goodness.
Rockets.
All right.
All right, Gab's the tiebreaker. So let's
make
pitch our
arguments.
argument.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
let me-
You go first, please.
No, after you. You're
I
going.
insist. Though.
Okay. So the reason I picked Denver is because I'm a team guy. I love teamwork. Denver is a great team. Jamal Murray is a team player. Jokic is a definition of a team player, right? And then you look at the bench. They still have Millsap, right? They still have great guys coming off the bench. And they went to the where did they go last? They went to the second round last year.
They lost the
They were a 2 seed, 3 seed.
second.
They're getting step by step, and I feel like I've seen Westbrook and Harden in the playoffs, and I'm not impressed. I'm not. So, that being said, I feel like Denver in 7 because
Well,
okay, go.
Now I'll tell you why you're wrong. So
Tell me why I'm wrong, Johnny.
the way I see it now, okay, with this pandemic going on, the teams have been away from each other for a long time. It's gonna
That's
be
true.
The way I've been making my picks, I don't know about you, but is that I think of who has like the better core players, because that's what's gonna really matter. You know, those top 2 or top 3 players on the team is what's gonna
Chemistry's
lead
gonna be
them.
out the window.
Exactly. There's gonna be no chemistry. So when it comes down to who has the better core of players, it's Houston. They're headed by 2 MVPs versus a Jokic who has been decent, but still, he's not. It's not like he's been winning
Jokic
games.
is a fantastic player.
They've been the 2 seed 3 years in a row and haven't made it out of the second round.
Well, you got to look who they faced.
But still, regardless of who they face,
They're
now
still-
this year, you know, I think you can't bet against Westbrook and Harden. I think that they're
I
wrong.
have, and I've been right in recent
In
years.
recent years. This is new. This basketball now is going to be a lot individual based, more than normal. You're going to have guys dropping 50, 40 to make their teams win.
All right, let's say let's say Can Harden and Westbrook both get 50 in a game?
For sure.
Was it just be them shooting the whole time?
No one else will have a point, but they can for sure co-manage like that. And those two players are better than Jamal Murray and Jokic and Gary Harris, whatever.
Well, I think Jokic. But you look, there's so many guys on Denver who can get you some. That's my philosophy. In Houston, they went full blown small ball. They traded away Capella, right?
That was their strength, right?
They went small
with
ball.
the strengths.
Well, let's say Harden has an off night, who's gonna get the boards?
Westbrook gets boards.
Over Jokic?
PJ Tucker.
Over Jokic?
Jokic is in the paint. Jokic is at the top of the key, passing the ball in.
No, but on defense.
Who cares about offensive rebounds?
All right. Well, it's just. I said it's going 7. Is it going 7?
I'll say 6. Houston in 6.
Houston in 6. All right, Gab. It's up to you. You going Houston or you going?
Are
you going the ball hogs and Harden and Westbrook? Or are you going with teamwork?
The better individual players or the better team? Because now there's no chemistry.
As good as I am at basketball, it is definitely not my forte, and you guys know that. But I mean,
who made
you
them more
guys both
compelling?
make very compelling arguments.
I'm telling you, Westbrook and Harden get so cold sometimes.
Jokic when he
I don't
drops.
disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
No.
But everyone's gonna be cold. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like,
No. I'm going on.
You're going on team chemistry.
No, I'm going on history. I'm going on
Look at
history.
history, man.
I'm going on the
future. Tom.
What you know what?
Tommy, isn't
the
there a
saying
saying,
is
like-
history is bound to repeat itself.
No, I believe it's the other
That
way
is
around. I
the
believe
saying.
history never repeats itself, ever.
No.
Ever.
History
Never,
is
ever
bound to
repeats
repeat itself. And what I've seen, there's a reason why they don't have a ring. And you can make it because Chris Paul was injured when Houston was in the finals.
We're not saying they're gonna.
But I've seen
We're not saying they're gonna
Westbrook
win.
without Durant.
But have you
in
seen
the
Westbrook
playoffs.
with Harden in the playoffs?
Yeah, when Durant was
but
there.
that was what?
Was
that was
this Durant
10,
was
that was 10
there?
years ago.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh,
LeBron mopped them.
Harden was a sixth man, and Westbrook was like a rookie.
Here's my
Big
reasoning
whoop.
for my pick.
So tell me who you're picking first, and I have a feeling
I'm
you're gonna
gonna
pick
go-
Houston, and
I'm gonna go with Houston.
Oh
Good pick,
Jesus!
guys.
You
Solely
drank the
because-
Kool-Aid big
Solely
time.
because
You drank the
You're getting a
Kool-Aid.
raise.
solely because Johnny's wearing a basketball shirt and he just looks like he knows what he's like. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
So
The
I mean,
shoes.
you guys both make good points, definitely.
Y'all drinking the Kool-Aid.
I think. Okay, Kool-Aid. It's not gonna kill. It's the first round.
It's
Let's
the
go.
well. This is
Jonestown.
this shakes up my bracket.
Okay, no, but your bracket. I don't think I typed it here.
No, but what if maybe I picked Denver over LA? Who knows?
No, really interesting.
I wasn't
No,
going
I
to.
think, I mean,
Yeah, Houston. are better.
chemistry is huge. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think it plays as big of a part in this scenario. And Harden and KC. I mean, we haven't seen what they do. KC.
Westbrook
Westbrook.
and the
sorry, I don't
Sunshine
know why I
Band.
said- Yeah, KC, Sunshine Band. No, I don't know why I said that. OKC. I don't know.
OKC,
That's
yeah.
it. I just think. I mean, they could be doing something special in the playoffs. We just don't know because we haven't seen them there yet. So that's why I'm going with Houston over. And I don't.
Hold up, pass me a Sharpie. We'll pick Houston this bracket, but I'm
You wanna do
putting Denver. If this happens, Denver over
Okay,
Houston.
write it down.
Write it down.
Happy.
And when I'm
Okay.
right, this is gonna be on YouTube for a long
Make a
time.
wager, Tommy. I'll give you. Let's see. I'll give you Houston plus 250. How's
Give
that?
him your Provigo.
How's that?
Houston
Houston
plus
plus
Put your
250.
Provigo check on the line.
But
It'll
who
make it.
would be the
$40
favorite?
so-
Who's the favorite in that series? Would it be Denver?
Yeah, because
Okay.
That's why I give you plus 250 on Houston.
No.
Minus 180 Denver. That's what I'll give to you, Tommy.
Let me think about it. But I know Denver's gonna win. So.
Well, then put the money down.
I'm excited to see Houston win.
Me too, guy. I think you came to the right time. Made the right decision.
I know. I think I did. Houston's just such a great basketball city too. I mean, they've the space shuttle launch, not the space shuttle launch, the Falcon, the SpaceX launch not long ago. I don't know if that was in
All I
Florida.
said, Hakeem retired a long time ago, guys.
Okay.
Anyway, no. Okay.
So I got overruled on that one, 2-1.
Yeah, overruled. Hey,
And
Houston,
that's
you're the one
gonna-
who
that's
said
m-
I was a tiebreaker.
Sorry, guys.
I could've-
Sorry. Our playoff bracket won't be right this year, just
Wow.
because I
I
got
could have
outvoted
kept my mouth
2-1.
shut, but you had to.
No,
So
but
we
we're
can't pick the
1-1.
favorites every
We're
time,
1-1. Gav's the
Okay,
tiebreaker.
Houston
That's how it
Rockets
works.
in what? 6, 7?
Six.
6. Okay.
Wow, 6.
What, you think it's
All
gonna
right.
go to
So
seven?
Johnny, when we're
I
right,
said 7.
Sorry.
when we're right,
Yeah. We'll load it over, Tommy.
we'll change.
Here's I'll make a bet for you. We'll make a bet for you. When this series happens and when we do a show, we'll have nothing but New York sports up here. No
love it. I
Boston
love
sports
it.
whatsoever. You can have your Giants, you can have your Knicks, whatever. And we'll do how long? I'll do 2 episodes.
Okay.
2 episodes.
And I'll do
But
2
when I
episodes of
win,
Boston
but
stuff.
when I win,
When you
no, I'll wear a Knicks. I'll wear a Yankee shirt. How's that sound?
When you
Yeah,
win,
for
Johnny and I will no longer be a part affiliated with this.
We'll have to.
So-
We'll find
You have
something.
to
So
wear
we'll
my
wear
Derek
full.
Jeter jersey.
We'll wear full New York on the
Okay.
wall, and and I'll wear a New York shirt.
Okay, and I'll.
But when I win,
Uh huh.
will be full Boston background,
Uh-huh.
and you got to sit there wearing a Boston Red Sox shirt
That might hurt him. He might.
and a hat. I'll wear a hat too. I'll wear a
And
Yankees hat,
And a hat.
and you'll wear a Red Sox hat.
Shoot. Tommy,
Full blown.
You know, if I wasn't so confident in Houston winning, I would be scared to make this bet right now.
Oh.
But I'm really not. So
All right. You got yourself. This is on. Tell me, we got a
on
deal.
tape.
So, Gav, can you repeat the deal to everyone? So,
repeat the deal.
when Tommy wins,
Yes. When? Okay.
Well,
If-
let's careful what you say.
If
we just shook our hands during a pandemic. That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
real this was.
Someone get the hand sanitizer, yeah.
You throw us a
Throw up the
Pampers.
wipes.
if Tommy is right, and
When Tommy's right.
if the Denver Nuggets somehow beat the Houston Rockets,
Somehow they're the favorites.
somehow beat the Rockets,
Well, the higher seed. But.
the highest, yeah. If they somehow beat the Rockets, then myself and Johnny will be sporting the Boston attire of Tommy's choice for what?
So no, you got to wear
Yeah, I
Patriots
was
because I
gonna say,
know
you
Red
gotta wear
Sox means
ties.
nothing
Yeah.
to
I'll wear
you.
Red
You got to wear Red Sox. And this wall will be filled with Boston stuff.
know,
All right,
Johnny-
then you gotta wear a Yankees jersey with like a Jets hat. That's what you gotta do. That.
I
Forget
don't-
Gavin. We gotta throw Gavin. We gotta give something to Gavin there.
Okay, so I'm gonna wear a Yankees jersey if I won't have to.
Well,
Guys,
when
But
you
theoretically, if
when you
I
lose.
were to lose, if Jokic were to tear his ACL or something, knock
I also just
on
got
wood.
word from one of the producers, Kennedy. She's in charge of all the designs and the logo. She will edit the logo to make it appear as if it has the
Oh.
colors of the winning team.
I like it. With
Oh.
it looks good with some pinstripes.
And I'm
I
not
can
even a
imagine
Nuggets
that.
fan.
I can
like
imagine
if
pinstripes.
if we
With
didn't have this bet, I wouldn't care. But now I'm the biggest Denver Nuggets fan on the
I'm wearing my
planet.
Harden
Okay, we're not
jersey
done.
next
We're
week.
not done here. We're not done.
Yeah.
So
We aren't done. So if I win,
if
right?
you win, if
Big if.
big if,
When?
Capital.
It's a
huge
when. It's not if. It's when.
Capital IF.
It's when. It's just a matter of game 5, game 6, 7.
Wow. Maybe.
Okay, so I gotta wear. If I win, Johnny has to wear a Boston Red Sox shirt and Red Sox hat, full blown. We're going full blown, and you, the blasphemy you just spoke into the microphone, have to wear a Tom Brady jersey. And I'll find. I don't know what hat. Well, we'll bring him a Patriots hat.
Little,
I'm sure
do,
you'll- I'm sure
I
you'll
mean,
find one,
little
yeah.
do people know that Johnny and I, we're like Randy and Trailer Park Boys. We're allergic to certain fabric.
Okay.
So we are highly, almost death.
Wear a long
to
sleeve.
any
What can I
bus.
tell you?
Okay, we'll wear a garbage bag.
All right. And but this is a deal, right?
This is
Gabs.
the deal.
When
I'm
we
in-
shook hands, that
I'm
included
from
you
Vegas.
too.
I don't mess around when it comes to bets.
I know.
We'll
and
recap it.
and then if I lose,
You got
I have to wear
You got the
Yankees.
Yankees jersey. I got the number 2 Jeter with a championship patch on it just for you. And you got to wear a Jets hat like Gavin.
And a Jets hat.
Is
yeah.
that-
And a Jets hat.
all right, that's all right. Deal. All right.
Okay, you guys
But
wanna hear
you
first?
bet in this bracket scenario, I got outruled that Houston goes on, but it won't happen.
But you wrote it down. You wrote it down.
We wrote it down. I know.
Okay, so and it was your idea to do the whole joint bracket in the first place.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it makes it more interesting. It gets us more
It does,
debates,
it
or
does.
else.
It gives us a better debate. And hey,
Absolutely.
And it worked.
And it
Ab-
worked, yeah.
Big
So we're
time.
gonna win that. Okay, good,
For sure.
Johnny. We're on the right track.
Can't wait till the Clippers
Well, now-
play the Lakers that we're gonna put
Well,
on
hey,
the
here's
line.
the thing. What if there's another disagreement and I side with Tommy? Then all of a sudden Tommy's my best friend.
Yeah.
I have to hate Johnny.
I think we got to keep these two bets separate.
That's the
you know?
okay. All right.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
no. What? So, is it just me and you, and then we'll do me and you?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
You guys are a team, right?
For now, for this
For
bet.
the-
Well,
for this
it's
bet.
just
Another
this.
bet.
It's just this. Hopefully,
But
none of this will happen
Yeah,
ever
we
again.
can, me and
because
Gavin
this
could
could be
team
our
up
only
again
bet.
against you because you make some
Well,
outlandish.
okay, this is our bet for this one, and then
Yeah.
each time we disagree, we'll think of another.
Okay, that sounds
I like
good.
it. I like it.
If there's something worse than Tommy wearing a Yankees jersey and you wearing a Red Sox jersey.
I can't. Think
No,
of-
he's wearing a Red Sox jersey and a Red Sox hat because I have to wear a Jets hat and a Yankees jersey.
Yeah.
Do you ever like throw up in your mouth sometimes? That's what every
I-
time you mention.
I
the Red
almost
Sox,
vomited into
that's
this
what I get.
microphone, Johnny.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
Plastic.
So let's look at the
Gab,
next one.
you're. Yeah, exactly.
All right, now we have
We need to get that sound effect.
the Utah Jazz and the OKC Thunder. That's the next one.
Who cares? I can't even think right now.
I guess Utah.
You know
I
what?
just wanna have a
This is a
disagreement.
shout out to my friend Harrison Baldry. I'm going Oklahoma City just because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
I'll go OKC just too because I like Shai Gilgeous.
and Chris Paul get him one step closer to an NBA championship. He's not
He
going
needs
to
a
win
ring.
one, but Like this year, he's not going to win this year. I'm not saying he's
Alright.
never going to win one.
So quick recap of the first round. So we have.
But we need to pick can we pick 6?
Oh yeah, sorry.
When in doubt, 6.
Oh yeah.
When in doubt, 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got OKC in 6.
So
Mike Conley hasn't been inside. I thought Mike
He's got
Conley would have
benched.
been
Yeah.
a huge role for Utah because we know what Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert bring.
Yeah, I thought.
Well, I was gonna make a bad Corona joke, but I didn't.
But I thought he would be the one to push them over the limit there, but he did absolutely nothing in the games
Yeah.
he played. He was hurt half the season.
Mhm.
Put him on the bench.
So yeah, Chris Paul's got experience. Gilchrist Alexander's been amazing. Oklahoma City in 6.
all right. So let's quick recap. So we have the Bucks in 4, the Raps in 6, the Celtics in 6, and the Heat in 7. And then in the West we have the Lakers in 5, the Clippers in 6, OKC in 6, and obviously, which is probably the surest thing on the platform here, the Rockets in 6. So
100%.
all right, let's pick up the pace here and let's jump into round 2.
All right.
So how does round now? It goes 1, 4, 2, 3.
Yeah, the lowest seed plays the highest seed.
Okay. All right. So Bucks and the Heat.
Bucks.
Bucks.
No question. I'll go 5. We'll just keep it fast.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
5.
Bucks and 5.
All right. Okay. Then we have the Raps and Celtics. It's a good one.
Come on, Boston.
That's actually really tough.
I'm going. God.
I gotta go Boston. It
I'm-
pains me to say this. I gotta go Boston.
You know what? Screw it. Boston.
Boston and 6.
Boston.
That is. I'm just telling you now. Bias is playing everything in that selection.
For me, it's not. I can't stand Boston, but I just think they're the better team. Than
I'll go.
the Raptors are.
That's a great series. But I feel
7-7.
like Tatum and Kemba. It's close, man. And like 2 months
It's 'cause
before the pandemic, I picked Toronto to come out of the East. But
I can't get behind Toronto when all they have is Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry, who draws charges.
that's true.
That's all I got.
I'll go Boston in 7. Want to go 7 on that one or 6? I'll go 7
We can go 7.
Fine,
I guess
we'll
for
go
the sake
7.
of diversity.
because they have home crowd too.
True that.
That's
yeah.
true.
Toronto. Well,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't mean anything,
Not
but
that it
still.
means anything, you know. All right,
Not that it
so-
means anything
Well, it's
whatsoever.
true.
Unless you have Disney fans.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
or you're
so-
allowed to pump crowd noise. I have no idea.
Now we got. Now we're in the West. We have the Lakers versus the Rockets.
So much for. Is they gonna come out of that one, Johnny?
Let me think about it. No.
No, no chance.
No way.
In what, 4?
Lakers
5?
at 5.
5
Yeah. All right. Then next we have the Clippers and OKC.
Clippers. 4, 5.
Yeah, 5.
No, yeah, 5.
When in doubt, give 5.
Yeah.
When in doubt,
Everyone
sweep.
has
We only
an
have
It's hard
one
to
sweep.
say. It's hard to say the sweep though. It's hard to predict that.
Yeah, we're going
so
speed mode now.
who's coming out of the East now? We have the Bucks versus the Celtics.
Ah.
I hate to say it. Wow.
Now, come on, boys.
Bucks and 6. Bucks and 6.
I thought last year we had them. Remember last year Boston smoked them the first game, and I was getting all proud at school. I'm like, y'all think Milwaukee? Yeah, they ain't Boston.
And then reality set in.
And reality set in. I don't know, man. I'll go Milwaukee and
You gotta go
6.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, we had that too.
But damn, I feel we could take them. I know we can.
It's hard to bet.
I know we can.
Yeah, but
And
it's hard
that's
to
not
bet
biased
against-
at all, ladies and gentlemen. I know we can.
just a little bit of bias.
Just a little bit of bias. I'm a little stitious.
All right, and then we're gonna look at the West.
Like
all-
this is the NBA
It's an
Finals.
all LA matchup here.
This is the
Lakers
NBA
and
Finals.
Clippers.
Lakers in 6.
Oh my God, this is so tough.
Lakers in 5.
I'll be rooting for the Lakers. And 5? Did you just say
Lakers
5?
in 5. I'm confident.
That's gonna go the distance.
I'm confident.
That's this. This is
It's gonna be quick.
Hagler Hearns. This is, I mean, this is the best you can get, man. This is the best money can buy. This was like when Triple G was fighting Canelo.
Yeah.
That was it.
Classic
This is when
fight.
Conor fight Khabib. This is it. This is all the marbles. This is John Jones Cormier. You know, this is Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, this is
Lennox
the
Lewis
matchup.
Tyson.
Which-
This is it.
Cormier Stipe come back for a third one. Sorry, just
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
plug that in there.
This is Ali Foreman, Ali Frazier. This is, I'm going Lakers. I'm going LeBron. It's 7. 5, slap yourself.
7. Really?
7. What do
I
you
say
mean?
7. I
I
say
think it's
7.
gonna be quick.
Kawhi and
I think
Paul
it's gonna be
George
quick.
aren't going to get a few? You think they're going to get 1?
You guys can disagree on
think
this.
it's
We
gonna
have
be
the
quick.
marker.
No, we both picked the Lakers.
No, I know, but
We'll
it's
take
in games.
in 6. To even it out?
Okay,
I got
6.
5. You got 7. We'll say 6.
Okay,
Six.
all right, split the difference. Why not?
Yeah, we'll take the average. It's Johnny, 7.
We'll be democratic about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good
I was gonna
guy.
say
Proud of
4.
you.
We've been democratic about it.
We have.
We took a vote for
We did.
Denver.
Okay, guys, we've come this far. How many teams was there? Like,
There were 22 teams.
now we're down to 2. Milwaukee Bucks and the Los Angeles Lakers. Who do you have?
I have the Los Angeles Lakers winning in 7 games.
You go 7 in this one, eh?
Well, yeah, it's the finals.
As a Celtics fan, it pains me to say this. It really does. I think the Lakers are getting an NBA title back.
Finals MVP, LeBron James.
Yeah,
For sure.
I mean, and even if he wins this, he's not better than Michael Jordan, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he's already better than Michael
Well,
Jordan.
no.
That's
That's it.
a
We've had this
discussion
discussion
for
already.
another day.
That's for another day.
Yeah.
But what I see is Milwaukee hasn't been to the finals yet, and Giannis hasn't been to the finals yet. Where LeBron has been there
Exactly.
9 times, albeit he's lost 6, albeit, but still, at least he's won. He's won finals before. I'll go. Yeah, we're going Lakers. We're going. I'll go 6. You say 7. Tomato, tomato.
About the same.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you this time, Tom.
We'll make it dramatic. We'll go 7.
All right. Fine. We'll go
Feel
And
like the
7.
then
drama.
MVP LeBron James.
MVP LeBron James. No, Alex Caruso. No, LeBron James. We're going LeBron James. So to answer answer McCall's question.
McCall's call.
We both got the Lakers winning the NBA title.
Over Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes, but
gonna-
Boston's right there.
Knowing
the finals.
McCall, and all love to him, he's probably had the Raptors sweeping the finals.
He has. Yeah, he probably has the
winning
Raptors.
16 games in a row. Yeah. He's gonna
No
hate
team
me.
has gone
We're not gonna
He's
16
gonna
in a
hate
row.
me for saying
We're not
that
gonna
stuff.
lose.
Yeah.
So we've already been on for over an hour. Today was a longer
Today was
episode.
Record
our
breaking.
longest episode. Let's.
Yeah, absolutely. We
recap.
don't want to keep them this long usually, but we had a guest on. It's very rare we have a professional collegiate athlete with
Professional
us.
what?
Professional collegiate.
Well, maybe future
Maybe-
professional,
yeah,
but we had a
for sure.
collegiate athlete and Anthony Souls join us, which is always great to have
Mhm.
guests on the show. We always want to thank our crew, my sister Kennedy, our producer, helping out with all the technology. Of course, our commentator, Gavin Delaney. Johnny, any last words?
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. So smash that subscribe button.
Hammer.
Smash that like button. And don't forget to send us your questions. Whatever questions you want answered on the Tommy John Show, we've shown we will answer them live on the podcast. So for Gavin Delaney, Johnny Mishaws, I am Tommy Lane. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of the Tommy John Show, and we will see you next time.